Let's fucking go.
Welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review The Boys Season 5, Episodes 1 and 2. Man, this is the final season of The Boys, and I gotta tell you guys, it is probably the perfect time to do it. Because while I have enjoyed The Boys for the most part, I will say that it did become about season 3, I was starting to after season 3, I was starting to be like, they kind of need to get to because there's only so much you can kind of linger on before you get to the whole killing Homelander thing. Before you it felt like, I'm not saying that they were running out of story, but it felt like so much was being resolved, dude. I mean, Frenchie's backstory was pretty much was explored and resolved. Butcher's backstory was explored and resolved. Huey's backstory was explored and resolved. Maeve's backstory was explored and resolved. Everybody's A-Train. Everyone's story was explored and resolved. And it was okay, it feels like we need to get to the killing of Homelander now. It feels like they were still using the show, at least in my opinion, as a way to explore certain subjects and explore them in a way that, that Marvel and DC can't. Or, explore some of the more darker aspects of superheroes, some of the more darker aspects of corporate greed and whatnot, and different social topics that, are very topical. And it felt like the show, and some people have already talked about that in the reviews and comments about the show, that the show has kind of after season 3, probably maybe season 4, if you want, after season 2, I'd say 3. The show did start to rear into more socially being more of a talking about using the superhero landscape in the show to talk about different topics and talk about different things and kind of highlight certain aspects of our modern world, mostly political. But and they do a lot of that in season 5. But it felt like from a character standpoint, it was running out. From a character and narrative standpoint, it was running out. It was running thin to me. It was. I was like, dude, this show can't go on. Invincible could go on for 5-6 more seasons if they wanted to. But this show, I'm like, dude, this show can't be going on. So knowing that this is the last season, I'm actually kind of happy because now we can kind of resolve. I think this is gonna probably be the best season of the show. And these first 2 episodes are any indication, I'm very excited for the rest of the show. But because we finally have gotten to that point where we can start resolving some of these things. And up top, Anthony Starr as Homelander is still fantastic. To this day, he is one of the greatest all-time villains in cinema, in film, in television, in cinema. I think he will go down as one of the all-time greatest villains in a show. He's already one of the all-time greatest comic book villains, and he's one of the all-time greatest villains in a show. The way he plays Homelander has always been so unhinged, and it's so funny because when he was cast, a lot of people kept referring to his work on the show Banshee. And I'd never seen Banshee. But I saw Banshee after the show because I heard some people saying ooh, we loved them in Banshee. And if you go watch Banshee, you can see shades of how he played. You can see why they saw, maybe the directors or casting saw Banshee and went, oh, he'd be great for this. Because he has a lot of those faces. But he plays Homelander with this. It's Superman if he was an unstable toddler. If he was this unstable man-child. Because he's so concerned about people's opinion of him. I mean, what? It's so insane. This man could be pouting. And because at first, episode 1, because the first episode, just to get into it, it takes place a year later after the end of season 4. And season 4 ends with Homelander managing to get Homelander managing to get people he wants in the president and as president in the White House, managing to get pretty much Vought takes over the White House. He pretty much runs the U.S. government and whatever he's gonna do, and and he made it to the point where he's able to open up camps, concentration camps. Let's just call it what they are, for people who disagree or say bad things about him. Literally, he was able to open up a camp for that and have people put in there. And unfortunately, Huey, Mother's Milk, and Frenchie got caught at the end of season 4. And it takes place a year later. And a year later, like, apparently Starlight has been out there leading this kind of pseudo-revolution, and she's been killing people, and she's been doing what she can to try to shine a spotlight on I almost called him Omni-Man, on fucking Homelander and who he is and what he's about. And then one thing she does is she uploads the video of that happened in season 1, that all so long ago, 2019. Feels like it's a long time ago, honestly, but the show's been out for a while. In 2019, Homelander had that sequence where he let those people die on the plane, and he cussed that one dude out, and like he threatened to laser him and shit. Like, that sequence was dope. Like, that sequence, and like she had threatened to upload that video long ago, but then he did that like crazy, he got that crazy look in his eyes, and he was like, oh, I'll lose everything, but then I'll have nothing to lose, and I can just do anything, who knows? And when a guy who's strong enough to literally rip you in half like a fucking piece of paper says that to you, it's kind of scary. It's insanely scary. And needless to say, he freaks out about it, even though even though everyone spins it, his people spin it so well that no one, that his fan base doesn't believe, that his base doesn't believe it. And even though it really doesn't really matter, he's still pouty about it. So he's all like, I want anyone who ever tweeted about me, I want anyone who ever said anything bad about me, thrown in a camp. It's like, that is nuts. But no one can tell him anything. It's so fucking scary. Like I say, dude, the fact that this man can pout like a child and then turn and look at you with a look that tells you he'll murder you, it's terrifying. He's terrifying. I mean, and they do a lot of things in episode 1 in particular. First of all, Butcher may or may not have killed his dad. Huey is still Huey. He still believes. He's still the most optimistic person in the show. Mother's Milk has become kind of cynical as fuck. Lost a lot of weight, too, but he's become cynical as fuck. Frenchie is Frenchie. Hustling his ass off, doing what he gotta do. But the interesting thing is, what's her name? Mimiko? I can never say her name correctly. They used to just call her the her. But the one, the healing, the Filipino girl who can heal and shit. The girl went from the Philippines. I think she's from the Philippines. Who can heal and shit. She's talking now, which is unbelievably jarring. And they're playing with this idea, though, is that she hasn't talked in so long that the only thing she's kind of taught herself to talk again by watching videos like TikToks and YouTube videos and stuff. So the way she talks is yeah, it's so weird because you're like, is this the same woman who we saw murdering people with her bare hands and covered in guts and blood and shit? And it's like, okay, I guess she is. And it throws me off. It threw me off for a while, but then I moved past it. Episode 1, though, where the boys get back together, they rescue Butcher with the help of a character named Tapeworm, who, at least talked about that character the better. They break into the fucking base. They have this interesting Butcher and Homelander Homelander and Huey have an interesting heart-to-heart moment where, like I said, you get the distinct vibe that Homelander sort of loves Butcher, and he's very envious of Huey. He's envious of Huey because despite Huey not having powers, despite Huey not being as, in his mind, handsome or strong or powerful or wealthy or whatever, not having any of the things that he has, Huey has people who love him, who care about him, who would die for him, who truly care and truly have his back, where he has none of that. And he kind of hates Huey for that. He low-key hates Huey for that. He won't admit it, but he does. And he low-key has a love for Butcher. Especially, like, there's this sequence that when he, like, looks inside a Butcher and he sees all the tentacles. Butcher's got all these tentacles inside of him because of the experimental drug that gave him superpowers. And the way he looks at Butcher and he's just like, you did all that for me? Like, I genuinely think that they're really playing up this aspect, sort of, that the saddest thing about Homelander is the closest thing to a friend he has is the man who hates him the most. Because Butcher was willing to do anything to kill him. Because Butcher truly hates him and is truly willing to do anything to kill him. And it's a personal thing. And he's willing to destroy himself to kill him. And in some fucked up, twisted way, he almost feels loved. It's fucked up. I don't know how else to describe it, but that was just a vibe I got. But either way, they saves him, and we have a saddened the death of A-Train. A-Train did one last final act of good before he was killed by Homelander. But he went out like a boss. He went out defiantly telling Homelander off. And it was a sad thing, but it was one of those deals where it's like, you know what? From the things that you've done, like, it's kind of one of those shows that, like, man, you don't really get to walk away from, like, kind of shit. It's like, dude, like, although he reformed, although he saved his family, although he apologized genuinely, I kind of knew he was going to die because I'm like, dude, once again, like I said, I kind of hope that I was like, this show can't really go on much longer. I mean, A-Train already apologized to Huey and meant it, and Huey accepted it. Like, so much of the shit had already happened that it's like there's no, like, from a narrative perspective, those roosters had to come. He had helped kill multiple people. He kind of got what he had coming to him, and he died. But episode 2 was awesome, too. Episode 2 goes a little bit more into it, a little bit more into the virus aspect of it, the virus, and they reintroduce their Soldier Boy into the equation, which Soldier Boy played by, is it Jensen? Yeah. Jared? No, it's Jensen. By Jensen Ackles is always fun because Jensen just plays him. I love Jensen from Supernatural. Anybody who knows me know I love Supernatural, but my goodness, that dude is just Dean Winchester in basically everything. And even in The Boys, he's great, but he's playing like a, what if Dean Winchester was a bit more of an asshole, was a homophobic dickhead, even more was a homophobic dickhead from the who has superpowers. Like, that's sort of how he plays him. But I digress. That entire episode revolves around the virus. And will it kill people? Will it work? Will it not work? And we find out it can definitely kill supers. Unfortunately, it may not be strong enough to kill Homelander. But all 2 of these episodes were great. They were excellent. I had a fun time. Boys, Season 5, Episode 1 and 2, I would give them both 9s out of 10. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comedy Movie Show again. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.